News out of the NBA, the Mavericks are expected to fire general manager Nico Harrison at 10 a.m. Central Time. In a meeting today, sources tell Shams Charania and Tim McMahon. SA, your reaction to that news?
Sorry for Nico Harrison, good dude, but at the end of the day, you traded Luka Doncic. And if you're trading Luka Doncic, you can't be 3-8 on the season with Anthony Davis already missing 3 games and having minimal impact to the success of the Dallas Mavericks while Kyrie Irving is out injured, while Luka Doncic is averaging 40.
It's insane.
And is a leading candidate along with Victor Wembanyama for league MVP honors. The trade is looking even more and more disastrous right now because Cooper Flag is going to be special.
Right.
And you know that Kyrie comes back, they'll look differently. But I said this on many occasions, it's going to come down to how Anthony Davis looks. Anthony Davis can't be ordinary. He has to be spectacular, because if he's spectacular, averaging 28 and 12, if he did something like that, like he was capable of, and he was available, then Dallas would be winning more games and you wouldn't be in this situation. But with him out, you know, not that he's out right now, but with him missing games or not only averaging 20 a game, being relatively average, and Luka Doncic playing all world, looking fantastic and phenomenal. That is really, really an indictment. 26 years of age, a superstar in Tinseltown, balling out, and he was your guy and never wanted to leave, and you pushed him out the door. It's unforgivable in a lot of people's eyes, and that's why this Nico Harrison is gone.
And a lot of people looked at Cooper Flag. They were excited about him coming to Dallas. However, like you said, when you take a look at how Luka is playing, I mean, it doesn't feel like the trade-off was worth it.
Well, not only that, Luka, when in the offseason, got himself in condition.
Yep, got in the gym.
Looks better, got in the gym, right? You couldn't do that. You couldn't get him to do that if you were Dallas. See, these are all things that come with the job. Nobody wants to hear that excuse. Even out of shape, Luka was still giving you 30 a night.
Yep.
Now he's in shape, giving you 40 a night. Lakers are winning basketball games without LeBron James.
Yeah.
Without LeBron James, they're winning basketball games with Luka carrying them, and that could have been Dallas. You're damn right they're making this move.
Yeah, Anthony Davis.
Damn right. And by the way, let's not absolve the ownership.
Right.
Because if Mark Cuban were there, that would have never happened. Mark Cuban, I just interviewed him the other day. I've interviewed him several times since Luka has been traded. Mark Cuban has repeatedly stated he would have never traded Luka Doncic. That was not a move that he endorsed. So Mavs ownership is more responsible for this than anyone for letting it happen, because they didn't want to pay him that supermax contract. But in the end, owners don't fire themselves. They find somebody to blame, and Nico Harrison went all in. He knew that it could eventually cost him, and unfortunately it has.
Yeah, Anthony Davis, he's missed 6 straight games with that calf injury. They definitely need him back, but now we see a lot of moving parts down there in Dallas.
Currently today, the Mavs and the owner, Patrick Dumont, expected to fire Nico Harrison. It's a 10 a.m. Central Time meeting. It's very specific, by the way.
Shocking.
Yeah, I know. I guess doesn't seem shocking, but we should react to it, Chandler.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to watch Run It Back yesterday, I kind of predicted this kind of happened very soon, and it's no surprise, right? I mean, the way this whole trade went down and secrecy, which I understand what he was trying to do, not having social media involved or take away the trade. At the end of the day, this could go down as one of the worst trades in the history of the NBA. You have a team that just went to the NBA Finals. You have a team that's excited, that's building around this star player, and you move him. And then you're given this absolute blessing with the #1 pick with Cooper Flag, and that hasn't even panned out, with still high hopes and expectations of a talented roster. Again, I don't wish anybody ill will or to be fired or lose your job, but the writing was on the wall here, and I think it's the right move for the organization to go forward. I think guys like Dirk will now be more involved and invested without Nico Harrison there, and I think they can get back to that culture that they had before when they had success, rather than this. But it all is going to stem to that trade, and I told you guys yesterday, this is something that they will never forgive him for. This is something they will never get over.
Just him. Like, this was not, he didn't do this on his own.
No,
the owner took accountability. It was financial.
Who's going to fire them?
I agree, but it's such a
they have the richest owner now,
thing.
basically, besides Ballmer in the NBA. He ain't going anywhere, and so this guy's the first to go.
Man, that's rough.
Well, Chandler, I think that was well said. I don't have a lot to add to that. I think you said everything that was necessary to be said. Winning heals all, and Dallas hasn't done a lot of that since that trade. When you shake the tree like that, you want to see some results as a fan base and as a city and as a culture. Like Dirk, they have a court where his logo is on the floor.
And he's not even involved with this team.
And him not being involved that should tell you a lot. The morale and how the city feels should tell you everything you need to know. And to what Beta said, when things like this happen, somebody has to go. And when this first started, Nico stuck his head out and he owned it. He owned it and he said, look, I probably won't be here long, but we're gonna win basketball games. He hasn't held up to his end of the bargain. And when these things happen, somebody has to be responsible for it. Somebody has to be the guy to own up to it. And that's been Nico since day one in this whole saga. And so today, I guess it comes to an end.
I think this is a lesson to the casuals. We sit here and we listen to these so-called experts and they judge these players. They say who's not good enough, who is good enough, to the point where they traded a player that was injured because he was overweight. Why he was injured? Just goes to show, these experts aren't really experts. It's just guys.
But owners aren't experts either.
But I just want this to be a lesson to the casuals. When you sit here and you take these people's words while they're judging these athletes, these are some of the results of it. So it's not gonna always make sense, it's not gonna always be factual. But they make mistakes, and this is a prime example.
Yeah, there's no reason to reinvent the wheel here. Like, you had a top 3 player in the NBA. You were just in the finals, and why shake that tree? Why?
Because they didn't want to write a big check.
Why not?
Because they were the new owners. They're new. They're not Mark Cuban.
Still don't
Mark
matter.
Cuban would have written
They
a big
wanted to
check.
take their $250
These
million
Richards can buy Mark
and put it
Cuban.
into-
If this is
These
if
new
this is
owners-
an investment, like you,
But if
new
your
owners-
investment is an investment and you don't give 2 poops about the actual team itself, you're a business person, then they're not looking at it the way we would look at it or a fan would look at it. Like, look, Nico, let's not get it twisted. He's been thrown onto the
absolutely.
fire because he's the face that can be fired. And by the way, just as a backdrop to sort of how this all played out, the Mavs were up by 13 in the 4th quarter last night, and apparently also according to Shams, the owner, Dumont, was having an interaction with a fan courtside last night, took accountability, said it was a mistake, and then now here today, this is what's going to happen. So,
Well, also, think about, this is the first game he had been in, I think, since the home opener, Patrick Dumont.
oh, so he super cares.
There's Nico has did you see this whole staircase thing that
I saw
Nico
it.
has, and his kids got security at school. Honestly, part of him is
mad.
probably
Totally.
relieved that again he
Look,
swung
get
for
a
the
fresh start.
he swung for the fences.
Yeah, give me
he
my
struck
severance
out.
package, and
Get
I'll
your
leave.
money and get the hell out of Dallas,
Yeah.
because honestly, if it's now you're talking about safety of your family, which I think is a little dramatic, but
you in Texas,
People are
right?
crazy.
There's some
dude.
different laws down there. Watch how you approach people.
and I think he made his bed. Unfortunately, now he's sleeping in it. Whether you think it's the owner, but he had the owner's ear and he made the decision. He swung for the fence and he struck out. And I think there's consequences for that when you had such a talented team and roster. And again, 3-8 right now with all these expectations to still be good without Kyrie Irving. It has to happen. It has to happen more so just for the fans and the city
Well, yeah.
moving forward.
The new chant, by the way, fans, will be sell the team. That's going to be where we're going to focus next if it can.
Yeah, and then by the way, is Jay Kidd now on the? It's who's next?
Some point you have
It
to be
usually doesn't
honest.
just
the
stop with
blame's
it.
gonna continue to
It doesn't
go
usually just
trickle
stop
down.
with that. Are they going to ship Anthony Davis out now and kind of start over around Cooper? There's going to be a lot of decisions made in Dallas.
And if it's a build around Cooper, then